Is Brian Burke. We are immigration attorneys, experienced immigration attorneys, and it's part of our weekly presentation to talk about immigration issues. Hopefully it will be helpful to you and educational. Today we're going to talk about adjustment interviews. It is the conclusion of your green card journey, and it is a very critical step for your green card process. It is very possible that you don't prepare at all for the green card interview and everything will go fine. It is also likely that lack of preparation will make your life very complicated. You owe it to yourself and to your family to do the best you can to have a good preparation, and we're here to give you a good walkthrough on what you need to do to have hopefully a trouble-free adjustment of status interview preparation. We are going to have Brian, there's going to be Ben, who is
short for beneficiary.
Exactly, who's going to be the beneficiary. And he is going to have some issues. We're going to begin with the preparation, the meeting with the attorney a week before the presentation. So maybe we can just give you a quick...
Yeah, we're gonna surely go minute by minute and sort of go by time before the interview. So let's see what we got here. So very first, we think 7 days before the interview, when you're a little bit of time between when the interview is and then is a good time to really discuss with your attorney to make sure you're ready to go. And you can meet with your attorney to discuss the issues. And if you identify issues with your attorney, you can stand a good chance at resolving them, preventing problems before the interview begins.
All right, without further delay, Ben, how are you today?
Oh, fantastic, sir.
All right, so I know you've been working very hard and anxious towards getting that green card process. We're here getting ready for the interview. Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
A little bit nervous.
Okay.
Government officers, very scary.
Yeah, well, the process is a serious process. And we are going to, one of the first things, Ben, you need to learn is you need to turn your phone off, as you're doing right now. Because at the interview...
Terribly sorry, sir.
All right. So because one of the things at the interview, they're going to ask you to leave your phone probably in the car or turn it off.
They ask you to turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here.
And while the rules you think it's uniform, it varies. So, for example, in certain offices, they want you to leave it in the car. Other places that have you turned off. Others that have you put on mute. But definitely not turned on, and definitely you cannot have conversations.
I want to make sure they're very happy when I talk to them.
Good. So did you have a chance to review a copy of the adjustment status application that I've sent you 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked,
Yeah. So I've made certain notes that I would like to talk to you about here, certain issues. But before I go into my issues, I want to go into answering questions you may have so I can get them out of the way for you.
Okay. I moved.
Okay.
I moved. Is that...
Not serious, but we will bring it up and correct the record.
Okay.
Okay. Where did you move?
I live in...
Are you within the same jurisdiction, or you moved out of state or out of the state?
Same. I'm here, and I lived on the other side of town, and now I live here in Dublin.
Okay. That should be fine, because obviously, if you moved out, then that may take you out of the jurisdiction of the interviewing office, which mainly, they may just push the file because they're going to show up, and the moment they know that you moved out, that's one less file that they have to deal with. Not many officers are ready to give you a pass on that one. Okay. So that's good. All right, so move, no problem. Anything else?
Yeah, so I was looking through my, job history on the form, and
yeah, that's on my list. We'll touch it. Anything else? I wanted to see if there's things not on my list. So I made a note of that job history. You're talking about that overlap in employment?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it, Ben.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, before we go move, you shouldn't worry about it. We got it covered. Okay. But I'll detail it for you here in a minute. Okay. But is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have, it's been a while, but I got denied, before I came to the United States, a visa at least once.
At the consulate?
Yeah, at the consulate, yeah.
Okay, what year was that?
Oh, it's been such a long time. I don't know, 2004?
Okay. Did we answer yes to that question on the page 11 of the questionnaire?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's an excellent start. We were truthful and we answered yes. And I see it right here that you've answered yes to the question about visa denial. Number 15, have you ever been denied visa to the United States? And you answered yes. And it looks like we have a little brief discussion here in the exhibit detailing it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. Visa denial. Anything else?
That's all I can, but I'm here to hear. I want to hear it from you because
Okay.
you know.
Yep, you got it. All right. So let's flush out the consulate issue here and get that out of the way. One of the most important things about the interview is mostly we can probably handle anything almost. I mean, not 100% anything. I mean, if there's a problem with your adjustment, I don't want you to find out in the interview
From the government
in front of the officer,
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
We know we don't want surprises. So if there's an issue, we would like to talk about it here. But everything I see, I can tell you here. I can give you the conclusion first. So everything I see about your case, you're in good shape. Because I want you to calm down because those issues are manageable issues. Okay, there's no perfect application. All right. So tell me a little bit about the consulate interview. What happened?
I applied for an H-1B visa through a company. I don't even remember what their name was. I mean, it was, about 15 years ago. And they said, I'm not eligible for a visa. I don't even remember why.
Okay. All right. You don't remember at all why?
No, I mean, no.
Do you think it's related to the employer or to you?
Oh, regarding them, I think it was something, they wanted to know more about the client or something, and they couldn't give documents.
Okay. So that is in the category of no problem at all. Okay. Yeah. So you need to just say, I gave them all the information and they denied it based on they were not satisfied with the arrangement. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah.
Is there a better statement to state how the situation went? Because I want you to kind of lock in on the exact words you want to do.
I mean, I guess it's not a problem with me because I'm here right now. I got another H-1B visa, a year or two down the road. That's how I got here.
Okay. So it wasn't with the job. Would that be a good? So you want to say that I've had a problem with the job. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So if they're going to ask you, that question will be asked at the interview a week from now. They're going to say, what happened at the consulate? Okay. So you want to say, I applied, I gave them all the information accurately, and I had a problem with, they must have had a problem with the job and the company, and the case was denied, has nothing to do with me. That would be accurate?
Yeah.
Can you tell me exactly in your words what I just told you?
Okay, so what happened? I had an H-1B employer. I got the case approved. I applied for a visa at the consulate, and they asked for. I gave them everything they asked for, and they denied the visa. I don't really know what it was about.
Okay, is everything told me accurate right now?
Yes, sir.
I want you exactly to remember that, and if you want to write it down and read it to me, when we go to the interview, so you have something fresh in your mind. I'm happy to listen to it one more time and hear it and confirm it. So that's a good thing, and that's going to be no big deal at all. Okay. Now, let's talk about the big one, the overlap in employment. So, so if I remember correctly, looking at the file on page 6, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, the officer is going to have the forms in front of them, and he's going to be looking at them. Okay. And I see here you were working for Rocket Software.
Yeah.
Since 2017, and before that, you were working for
Crane Engineering is the name of the company.
Okay. And what happened there? It looks like your employment ended on.
Yeah, and I ended with Crane on 5th of September 2017, and as you see on the forum, it says I started with the next company, a couple of days before that. So I was with technically with two companies at once.
Now, is that I got to go look in the calendar? Is that a weekend situation or is that a?
I'm not sure, but I know there was some left holdover work from my.
The question I ask is this: did you actually sit down and work at 2 locations at the same time? You need to remember, this is very important.
Yeah, there was one there was,
Did you sit down and perform work?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Good. So no problem at all. So we did file, when we filed the adjustment, a waiver for you called INA 245K waiver. Under INA 245K, you're entitled to violate the terms and conditions of your visa up to 180 days. Okay? So this is like a 3 or 4 day violation.
Yeah.
I went back, just to let you know, and I checked your labor certification, because there's employment dates on the labor certification, and that overlap was also mentioned there, which is excellent news.
Okay.
Because if we don't have that overlap, okay, there is the potential, okay, not very likely, but there's the potential, because that document also filed under oath,
Yeah.
that you could get in trouble for not filing truthful statement. But when we looked at the labor certification, it was there and was no problem. So that's great. So that's thumbs up.
Everything is consistent. That's what you're telling me.
Everything's consistent, and that violation really is not that big of a deal. Now the question I have is, when was the last time you left and re-entered the U.S.?
Oh.
Before or after 2017?
Oh, before 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So before 2017, then that violation is relevant to this adjustment. If it's after 2017, that violation may not be relevant, but what you put at the consulate, that form, the DS-160 form you completed, becomes important, because
DS-160 form?
yeah,
What's that?
that's the form that you apply at the consulate.
Oh, the visa application.
Yes.
Okay.
So that form becomes important, because if they said, have you had any violations, and you said no, it would be a problem.
Okay.
It would be a problem, because and believe it or not, the officers or the officers who are reviewing the adjustment, not all the time, but sometimes they do look at and review what was submitted at the consulate and cross-check it to what was submitted at the adjustment. Okay, good. So it was before. The violation is relevant. The violation is less than 180 days, and we have filed a proper waiver, and the information is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So you just walk in, and they're going to ask you about it, and you're going to tell them the truth, exactly what we talked about, and you'll be just fine. Okay? So that's check. No big deal there. Okay?
Okay.
Let's see here. And I just noticed that you just got married. And
My luck with your wife.
What happened to the prior marriage?
Oh, divorce.
When did you get divorced?
Oh, about 6 months ago.
Okay, and quickly you got married?
Pretty quick, yeah.
What happened?
Now,
Now, let me interrupt you. I'm not interested in learning anything about any crisscrossing relationships. This is not my business. This is not the government business. I will never ask you that question.
Yeah.
Okay, and they will never ask you that question, and you should never answer that question. What I'm interested in is whether or not the new marriage is bona fide and a true marriage.
Oh, yeah, we're happy together.
Okay, good. Where is she now?
At home.
Okay, and what is her visa?
H4.
Okay, so I haven't seen her interview adjustment. Looks like it got delayed,
Yeah.
so she's going to be interviewed separately. That is going to be, not a serious flag, but it's something that you have to prepare to show evidence of bona fide marriage. Every time there's a recent marriage around the adjustment, the government's antennas are up, and they're just saying, okay, what's happening? So we want to show that, obviously it's a balance. I don't necessarily care about you sharing information about you having a relationship prior to your marriage. At the same time, I don't want to lie to the government. So you got to walk a fine line. Things as, maybe we'll get a few letters when her adjustment come up. We'll talk about that more at her adjustment. I would need a few letters from her friends, common friends, to attest to the marriage is bona fide, maybe a vacation.
Photos.
Pictures. Yeah.
Tons of those. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Wonderful. No problem on the recent marriage. So I think you're ready for the interview. Here's what I ask you to do. Think about what I told you. I need 245K coverage, your over level of employment, you're fine. Your recent marriage, I need some documentation. We'll prepare. Probably we don't have to present him during the interview for you, but probably have to maybe be ready in case there was questions. Okay. Just remember, whenever you show pictures, the best thing you can do to show marriage is pictures. Why? Because here's a reality about interviews. The officer has a time allotted, okay, to interview. Half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever time they have. Usually it's about 20 minutes to 30 minutes or so. They want to move in and out. The more pictures you show, what happens? The less time they're going to ask questions. So show them 10 pictures. And a lot of time they like pictures because they're going to say, who's this guy in the picture? Well, this is my brother. And who's this other guy? Well, this is my wife's best friend, and wow, look at this dressing. So it takes time. And the more time it takes, the less they can ask questions that can be, that we don't necessarily care to waste too much time on. It's in your favor. So pictures are good, and be prepared to give 2 pictures to the file. A lot of time they're going to say, can I get 2 pictures for the file? And you have to have 2 extra pictures and say, well, take these 2 pictures. Okay. All right, wonderful. Excellent. Let's get into the interview, okay. Ben.
I'm still Ben. I'm going to put my.
Okay. Are you going to be the Brian the lawyer? You can be the Brian lawyer for a few minutes.
I'm gonna.
So doing this.
That's me taking my beneficiary hat off, and now I'm Brian the lawyer again.
Okay. All right, Brian.
So talking about the interview, couple general points we want to hit, coming up to the interview. So number one thing is talk with your attorney, understand what potential problems you might have, and you are better prepared than most people if you do that.
Yes.
Start thinking coming up to the interview. 24. What do you do? How do you prepare the day before, Sam? You read your file again. You organize your documents. Make sure you have them nicely organized. Make sure you have all your good original stuff that you're going to need readily available. Figure out your attire. Look good. Look for the dress. Like you're going to a job interview, because that's essentially that's a lot what it's like, right? Be there early and plan your route so you can be sure you're gonna be there early. So that's
right. Excellent. So those are the good advice. Be prepared. Look good. Right.
Yeah.
Dress nicely. Yeah. Take the interview seriously. Trust me. You show up disheveled, they're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
You show up dressed nicely. It shows that you respect the process. Your body language and the way you dress makes a huge difference. Get good night's sleep the night before. Take a shower, shave, look good, relax, be prepared. It really will help your application. So shall we move on to the interview?
Yeah. I'm gonna, when you get to I'll make 2 or 3 points about getting to the interview. Present policy is they don't want you there more than 15 minutes before it starts. Understand that it is a secure government facility because you're going to have to expect to go through airport-style screenings. So remove your belts, remove your shoes, empty your pockets. That's really what you're going to be looking at. When it comes to getting to this place, always keep in mind that it's going to be a secure facility. And really, the most important thing is to have your interview notice. That's kind of your ticket in the door. That and your ID, of course. Your passport, your driver's license. Bring as much as you have. And once you get in there, you've given them your interview notice. And I really want to cover how you get to that office with the USCIS officer, Sam. You give them this interview notice, and they give you essentially a receipt that has a letter and a number on it, K26, E24. That is your ticket in the door. You're going to be sitting there in that waiting room, waiting for them to say E26, K24. And, the way these rooms are usually laid out, Sam, I was actually just at the interview, as you know, last week. So they usually have 3 or 4 doors where the officers come from. I always find it a little bit stressful because, they might be calling people from 3 different doors. You just have to basically keep your ears open and a close eye on people to make sure you figure out, you make sure that you come up when you're called. So, but that's really, prior to the interview, that's it. But let's talk about, actually getting in there.
But I also want to mention a couple of things. In some offices, they're going to give you a number. In other offices, they're going to try to pronounce your name. So every office is different. So they're going to, and then you need to carefully listen to your name because your name will not be pronounced right. Now, in big cities, they have officers who speaks multiple languages and they'll pronounce your name perfectly. But for example, if you are in a city where there's a very large Hispanic population, so these officers probably, most of them will speak Spanish and English, of course. But your name, if you are from a third country, may not be pronounced correctly. So you want, and they will repeat it. They're aware that the name pronunciation could be an issue and the volume, especially with big halls. Now, with COVID, there isn't a lot of people. Everybody's outside and you have to arrive 15 minutes before right now to the interviews. So it's not crowded, and that's wonderful. Good for you, good for the officers, good for safety. But under normal circumstances, it could hurry and you just need to pay attention. Ben, I'm the immigration officer.
Hello.
All right, have a seat. And then I'm going to take that chair. I'm going to put that chair right behind you. And I'll put your attorney right behind you because I don't want this attorney to bother me as I'm working. And this is an interesting issue, but we don't get offended as lawyers, but you want to put the attorney behind you. But Ben, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Do you speak good English?
Oh, right hand.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, take it seriously, Ben. This is an interview. If you could not know from your left hand, from your right hand, we're in trouble. I swear.
I swear.
Everything I'm about to say.
Everything I'm about to say
is true and honest and truthful.
Is true and honest and truthful.
So lower your hand. You know that any statement you make is made under oath now. Making a false statement is a felony. So I'm going to be going through the questions. Yes, going to be through the adjustment interview. We're going to talk about what your application said and ask you a few questions.
Okay.
And then hopefully we can get this adjustment application going. Can you please give me your family name?
Officiary.
All right. And what's your first name?
Ben.
All right. Have you used any other names before?
No, sir.
All right. And what's your city of birth?
Jakarta, Indonesia.
And what's your date of birth?
3/20/1986.
All right, thank you. And what's your citizenship?
Indonesia.
What's your mailing address?
123 Paper Street, Dublin, Ohio.
Okay, so that's a little different than here. Have you moved recently?
Yes.
Okay, when did you move?
Oh, I guess about 3 months ago.
Okay. Did you file a form called AR-11?
I filed the online change of address with USCIS.
Okay, because this is an important form to do. By law, if you don't do it within 10 days, you can get in trouble. You're aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me 1323 Paper Street.
Yes.
Dublin, Ohio?
Yes, sir.
What's the zip code?
43017.
Okay, so I updated your adjustment application for your current address.
Okay.
I'm going to get your signatures at the very end on that page number 2 of the application, okay? All right. What day did you enter the United States? Do you recall?
January 2016, January 3rd, I think.
All right. And what's your current visa right now?
L1.
All right. Do you know what the expiration date of that visa?
No, not right now, no.
Okay, so I'm looking at this I-94 that I have here. Do you have your passport on you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't you put your passport right here for me? Does it have the I-94 in it?
Let's look. No.
Okay, can you please find your I-94? I'd like to look at it.
Okay. There you are, sir.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so your I-94 date shows January 1st, 2022, and that matches here, so you're in good shape. Thank you. I'm going to keep it with me here, and I'll give it to you at the very end. I'll make a copy of it.
Okay.
All right. So tell me about this recent marriage here that I see, that you have just gotten married. When did you get terminated your prior marriage?
Oh, about 6 months ago, I think.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that divorce certificate?
Yes, sir, I do.
Can you get me? Could you have an extra copy for me, or do I have to make a copy?
I have an extra copy.
All right. Thank you very much. I see that here. All right. Okay, let's talk about your job with Crane Engineering. When did that employment end?
September 2017.
What day exactly?
The 5th.
And when did you start working for Rocket Software?
September 1st.
Okay, so based on my record, your H-1B was approved on your L-1A was approved on September 1st. So what happened there? You worked at two places at the same time?
For like a couple of days, they needed me at the old company to, finish up some stuff.
Right. So right now, Brian, put your attorney hat and intervene.
So how can I answer that? I mean, we were talking about INA 245K.
Yeah. So officer in the record.
Oh yeah, and in the record there's a
a waiver, INA 245K waiver with a letter explaining the circumstances. So we usually would discover that in advance, and we would include an INA 245K letter requesting the waiver. And the INA 245K waiver is very straightforward. There's no filing fee, and all what you do is you have to just mention it. You have to mention the circumstances and why you meet the requirements. So it's not complicated. So it's in the record now. So I'm putting in here the inspector hat back on. I see here the record, your INA 245K letter. I see here that you admit that you have violated the terms and conditions of your visa for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
And it's less than 180 days. So, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate providing the letter and the details. Let's talk about your father's name. What is your father's name, please?
James.
Okay, what's your father's last name?
Officiary, just like me.
All right. And date of birth for your father?
5/29/1954.
What's his country of birth?
India.
Okay. Let's talk about your mom's family name.
Smith.
All right. What's her first name?
Carol.
Place of birth?
Indonesia.
Her citizenship?
Indonesia.
Okay.
And,
Thank you. All right. Sounds good. So let's go through some of the questions that we have. You've indicated here, well, have you ever been a member in any organization or an association whatsoever?
like I'm in a soccer league.
Okay. Was that an association, or is that did you pay a fee for that?
No.
Okay, it was just a group playing together?
Yeah.
Or were they organized like a company?
Like once a week we get together. I mean, it's like a Facebook group.
Okay. What's the name of the group?
Columbus Soccer Heads.
Okay. And from what is the what country was that? USA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something I do
Okay.
for fun.
When did you become a member?
I don't know, about 2 years ago, I think.
Approximately what? Give me a date. I need a date.
It's a spring league, or it's nice weather. May of 2019, I think.
Okay, and tell me, was that early May, late May? Give me a date. I need a day.
I don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna put May 1st. Okay, that will be the closest that we have, right?
Okay.
And are you still there? Are you still a member? Do you go there?
Yeah, it's been a bit slow due to COVID, but
yes?
Yeah.
So I want to put present here. I'm going to have you sign this at the very end of the interview to
Okay.
indicate that change. Okay. Have you ever been denied admission to the United States? At the border?
No, at the border, no.
Okay. Have you ever been denied a visa?
Yeah.
When?
Oh, 2004, 2006.
Okay.
I don't recall exactly when.
Okay. Attorney hat on. This is when the attorney say, officer, to make things easier for you, we have an Exhibit 2, the circumstances in which they're denied an Exhibit 1 for your convenience, but we can certainly answer any questions you have. Thank you for providing this information. Tell me what happened.
Well, I was applying for an H-1B visa. I had an approved H-1B case, and I went to the consulate. I applied for a visa, and I gave them everything they asked for, but ultimately they didn't, approve it.
Okay. Do you know why?
No. I mean, I think it was something to do with the company, not about me.
Do you have any papers that you have that you can share with me on that?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. So I see here that you've marked yes, that you work in the United States without, that you violated the terms and conditions of your non-immigrant status. And is that related to working for Rocket Engineering?
Yeah,
okay.
I talked to the attorney.
Okay. Is there anything else that you have violated the terms and conditions of your status other than the 3 days you've mentioned here?
No, sir.
Thank you. Have you ever worked without authorization in the U.S.?
No, sir.
Okay. You said no here in the form, just to let you know, so that confirms, right? Have you ever been in removal or exclusion proceedings in the U.S.?
What's
deportation?
That? No.
No deportation. Have you ever committed crimes in the U.S.? Any crime in the history? Okay. Have you ever been cited for a crime without committing it?
No. I mean, I've gotten some traffic tickets.
Okay. How many traffic tickets?
Like 1 or 2 speeding tickets.
Okay. Did you pay a fine?
Yes.
Do you remember how much fine did you pay?
Less than $100.
Okay. Sounds good. So you said no here. You don't have to mention them. That's okay. All right. Have you ever been in a member of any communist party, Nazi party, or any other party that advocates non-democratic thinking process?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you gamble?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Are you a diplomat?
No, sir.
Have you ever committed fraud anywhere in the world?
No, sir.
What about drugs? Do you use drugs?
No, sir.
Do you buy it, sell it?
No, sir.
Any other violations of the law anywhere in the world that you need to share with me?
No, sir. No. Just the tickets.
Have you ever done anything that is contrary to the way we live here in the United States? Any conspire to do anything dangerous here in the U.S.?
No, sir. No, sir.
What about terrorism? What do you know about terrorism?
I know nothing about it, sir.
Did you participate in membership or an organization that advocates overturning any government by force?
No, sir.
Have you ever been in the military?
No, sir.
Any weapon training whatsoever?
No.
Did you volunteer work in any prison or a camp that arrests people or control people?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, sounds good. So I think you're fine. I don't have any problem with the application. I am going to recommend approval. I cannot say whether or not your case will be approved because the supervisor has to review my work and then get it approved.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time to come in today, and I wish you luck. But I do have a couple of questions here that came up here on the exhibit at the very end. Looks like they added those 2 questions. What do you do for a living?
I'm a computer programmer.
Okay. And who's your current employer?
Crane Engineering.
Okay. Did they file the I-140 petition for you?
Yes, sir.
When did you start working for them?
Well, originally, 5 years ago.
And what happened?
I left for a little bit.
Why?
I took another opportunity.
And then when did you join them again?
About a year ago.
Tell me about your job.
I basically, we have a sort of a proprietary software product that's used to, it's like an app, and I sort of help develop that app.
Okay. Well, that's not software development. Developing an app is not developing software, is it?
Well, why not?
Well, I'm asking you.
Oh, it's software.
I'm the one that asks the questions here.
Sorry. No, it's software development.
How is that? Explain it.
This app is something. It's software. I'm one of the guys who writes the.
So what languages and skills do you use to develop it?
Java, and I use there's an
I see here Java is listed on the job description.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? I see 4 other ones. It would be nice if I can hear them from you.
That's a while ago, but I mean, I use the iOS. There's an iOS development environment, and there's.
That's not listed here.
I use it.
Is that an operating system?
No, it's like a development. It's what I use to develop software.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good. I think I'm satisfied. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So that is how you go through an interview.
Can I take off my beneficiary hat, Sam?
Yeah, please. It's a heavy hat.
I'm throwing that on the table. You're a little bit tough on me.
Yes.
I'm a software developer, darn it.
Yes. Well, we wanted to make sure, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking off the inspector hat or the reviewer hat too, and being an attorney. It's a lot easier being an attorney than being an inspector. So that's what you go through in the interview, and knowing your application, and knowing the job description, and knowing the soft spots in your case makes for an easy application. I always tell people, bring all the original documents with you and bring an extra copy, because sometimes they are going to ask for a copy, and having the officer to leave and make a copy, it irritates him or her. It'll be nice when you say, here's the original and here's a copy. You look good when you do that. They like you when you do that. Brian, anything else you want to add?
No, I think even Officer Sam was a little bit more thorough than I usually get. I mean, when I go to an interview with somebody, I mean, they will hit what they think is. It is possible, 100% possible for them to go through every single question on the form if they're that sort of person, that's their sort of personality. But I find that basically they, just as Attorney Sam went through with beneficiary here, what we thought was interesting about the case, why they wanted to talk to you, why they wanted to interview, the officer does that as well. And, they try to focus in on those things mostly.
My years of experience in handling interviews and situations taught me the following. You go to an interview and 95% of them are going to be as scripted. 5 of them will be fireworks. You can sometime, the moment you walk in that room, you know something is wrong. This officer is not exactly in his or her best mood, or they've already, something about the file got them rattled, and your preparation is what's going to save you. Your strong preparation was going to save you. And I've had those where the moment, I've had one interview when I've asked the officer, it may be a good idea for us to walk out of the room and walk back in the room one more time and reset, because I don't know what happened in the last 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't understand it. But be that as it may, we're here to do an interview. We're here to cooperate, and we ask you to give us a fair chance to conduct our interview and present our case and show you that we qualify. I've had that happen.
Yeah.
And then I've had happen with officers who are completely not interested. They're watching. I don't know what they're watching on their screen, but they've already made up their mind to go one way or the other, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But that's the minority.
Yeah.
Okay. But your preparation is will save you. Knowing your case in and out, knowing the weaknesses of your case, is going to save you in a few, 3 or 4% scenarios in an interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that's what we got. Let's turn it into questions.
Oh, I love questions, Sam.
And hopefully you guys have had some questions to ask us. And
we have plenty of them here.
all right. And then we are going to conclude at 7 o'clock. So we get 20 minutes of questioning, and hope to get to as many of them as we can.
Yes. So there's our first question. It's, hi, Brandon, Sam. Looking at the rate USCIS is processing and less wastage, do you think EB2 should reach December 2012 on the November visa bulletin? December 2012 on the November visa bulletin. That's, you have the dates for filing chart, Sam. I think it's a copy of it right here.
Yeah.
They're on for dates for filing for that. They are on December 2011. I do not see it get it. That would be a year of movement to get it to December 2012.
I don't personally think of visa bulletin in months in the way my brain process, because I'm not privy to the data that they are privy to. I mean, I'm just being very honest here about discussing dates. And we can say, yeah, we can or we cannot, we anticipate. I process it in, when we looked at this and listened to the last presentation made by Charlie Oppenheim, to me, I process now January. So for me, October is a milestone, and then January is another milestone. Now, I could be wrong, but that's how I process information. Mm-hmm. So if the question is, do you think it's going to move to, what date was that?
December 2012.
In either October or January, that's the way I process information. Mm-hmm. At least today, I may change it when I listen to him next in a few days. Yeah. But I doubt it personally.
Yeah, I tend to think of it more as the fiscal year. That's a lot of movement. EB2 is just moves so slow. However, they're approving cases of EB3 and EB3 downgrades, and every time an EB3 downgrade gets approved, that's one less person on the EB2 line. And
here's the math in my mind. We have 500,000 cases backed up in India. Yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about in India, India, right? So we got 500,000 cases backed up, right? Approximately.
Yeah.
Okay, we are 10 years out.
Yeah.
It's simple. I'm gonna throw in a linear line on this. Now it could be a exponential line. It could be parabolic line, I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to throw a straight line on it. By throwing a straight line on it, that's 50,000 a year. They're not processing that rate.
Yeah.
Overall, they're doing about 70 or 80,000 cases per quarter, right? Mm-hmm. To my knowledge. And some of it is EB2, some of it is EB3, some of them is India, China, the rest of the world. So the sliver of 10 or 15 cases, 1,000 cases from India is not going to move it 1 year.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my conclusion on that.
In December, in November. I mean, Syed, I'm known as an optimist. I just don't see it moving a year by November. Sam's right. Look more towards January. That's when Charles Oppenheim said the visa bulletin. He suggested anyway that it might be moving once we get out of Q1 of fiscal year 2022. But that's quite a movement at this point.
I think so. USCIS sent email and asked me to set up InfoPass appointment in the field office to submit evidence of 485 expedite request. I am waiting for the appointment date. Can I submit evidence in email instead? Submitting the appointment in email is probably not going to help, in my opinion, if they ask you to submit it in person. But sending an email is not going to derail your expedite request. You can send it by email and be prepared once they give you the date.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they tell the government gets to set the rules on these things. Unusual. I haven't heard of getting InfoPass appointments for expedite requests. Usually, getting email requests for documents. But
well, I mean, the word InfoPass is the dead word, anyways. I think probably come to the office for an interview. Now, remember, an expedite request is an animal of a USCIS policy. Is a creature, I should say, of USCIS's policy. It's a policy created, and they can dictate it however they want, and they can approve it or deny it without providing any details or explanation, because they want to get into as many of them as they can. So if they tell you to come to the USCIS office to submit your document, probably they want to talk to you as well in person, and then you need to follow what they ask you to do.
You don't. Unfortunately, you just don't set the terms as to how you communicate with the government.
Yes. All right.
Okay, this one's from Deepak Reddy. So my priority date is June 7th, 2012, EB2, and my employer is filing for downgrade and suggesting to file Perm under EB3 having the same priority date. Should I proceed or wait until December bulletin? Please advise. So it sounds like doing an I-140 downgrade to EB3 right now versus.
But what's this Perm filing under EB3?
I don't know. We're gonna presume
the same priority date. So proceed, unless the EB2 priority date is from a prior employer.
Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, that's a possibility. So if it's possible to file a downgrade right now, Sam, is it a good idea? Let's maybe narrow the question a little bit.
Well, the answer is yes. I'm not clear about the question, but the answer is yes. You filing a downgrade, you got to go with the downgrade and not waste your time. I don't understand the question, because filing a Perm under EB3 having same priority date, I don't see, that's not a downgrade.
That would be a brand new Perm and I-140 filing. Yeah.
So why would you file a Perm in EB3 when you already have one?
My priority date is June 7th, 2012, EB2, and my employer is not filing for downgrade and suggesting to file Perm under EB3 having the same priority date. So I don't understand the benefit.
Let's play this thing out. I think probably worried about, well, two things. Wants to take a little longer time, which takes a year to get a Perm.
Yeah.
So not ready to lose this employee right now, and want him to move on a slower pace. That's one possibility. The second possibility is worried about the prevailing wage in the EB2, and worried about financial ability.
There's 1,000. Also, that job from 2012 might not be relevant anymore too. There might be something to that. If it's that 2012 job is just, it might be worth it to file an EB3.
I think you need to take a consultation with a good lawyer that you can break it down. But the employer rules in the situation, so whatever the employer wants. But sometimes the employer is not thinking straight, and they need to be informed a little bit. It's a balancing act.
Yeah, I mean, if you can downgrade, why not downgrade though?
It's not in your best interest to file a Perm in EB3.
Yeah,
I don't see that helpful to you. Okay, because it's going to take a year. A year from now, the party is over.
Yeah.
Anybody
doesn't know, if you qualified for an I-140, your I-140 was approved in the EB2, you can take that Perm and take it to the EB3 category and file an I-140 petition. You don't require as long as you're with that same employer and they're willing to file it, you don't require a new Perm. Straight downgrade.
All right. So, and hope we're giving you enough details with those questions. Regarding InfoPost appointment, not green card interview for 485 expedite request is field office going to ask green card interview questions? Please give them any tips to prepare for InfoPass appointment. It's going to be related to the to the expedite review basis.
Yeah. We did a whole presentation a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, on expedite requests, and tips to prepare for that. It's really what they want to hear from you is really contingent upon the nature of your expedite request. Ultimately, I mean, they want you to, presumably they're bringing you in because they want documentation and information to support that request. So, you know, it depends on the basis of your expedite request. If it's due to severe financial harm, you should have, you know, hypothetically, you're going to lose out on, you're going to lose a house. You know, you should be able to show, you know, contractual documents or letters showing that, you know, the money's on the line, and if you don't make payment X or something along those lines, you have to come to them documenting whatever your request relates to. You have to be able to give the evidence to support it.
Watch that video. It has a lot of good information because there's a lot of details there that can make or break your case.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that's about really submitting the expedite request, but the number one thing we hit on there is have the documentation available to support that
whatever
request.
Statement or proposition you've given them, you need to have the evidence to support that.
You've done a good job by getting them to say, hey, come in, and we want to talk about this expedite request. But, you know, part of, you know, doing a good job for yourself is now having the documentation to support whatever you said to them on the phone.
Yes.
Here.
I-765 I-131 is approved. Received my EAD and advanced parole combo card by April 6, 2021, but my I-145 status got stuck. Fingerprint fee was received. It's something to do with my background check. All right. So what is the question? Maybe there's a
follow-up. So I mean, I read this as somebody asking the question, when is my I-45 going to get approved? I'm assuming, you know, first of all, you say your EAD and AP is approved. People are very focused on that, but no relation to when they're going to approve your I-45. They can approve your I-45 without ever approving those things. So I wouldn't really focus in on that. But if your I-140 is, if the underlying I-140 is approved, they can in theory approve your I-45 at any time. Is it stuck? It sounds like it's stuck. It sounds like you think you have a case that's documentarily qualified, ready to be approved, and it hasn't been approved yet, assuming your I-140 is approved and your priority date is current. What you're competing with right now is USCIS's massive workload backlog. I know there's plenty of people out there with current priority dates, and they have not yet been approved for their I-45. You're essentially left to just sort of say your prayers and hope that whatever USCIS officer in whose workload queue that your case is in, they pick up your case next. They're just
and also depends on priority date.
I mean, your priority date has to be current, and in theory they should be going for the oldest ones first.
Right.
Yeah. In practice, they don't necessarily do that. But
it's not a perfect system, but generally it is.
Yeah. So is it something regarding a background check? No,
I wouldn't. Well, you know better than we do on background.
Yeah, you asked that question for a reason, perhaps. You know.
Well, not necessarily. Well, I mean, she could be. We're just worried about background check. No, it's not. I mean, if there's something concerning a background check that you are worried about, the truth is you got to talk to an attorney.
Agreed.
If there's nothing in your background and you're just asking a general question, you know, they're doing their background check. When they're doing their background check, you're standing in line. And if you're no better or no worse than anybody else, everybody's stuck. They're not able to handle the workload. And we got, obviously, COVID situations, which is increasingly more complicated.
I can say when I hear somebody who's, you know, my case could be approved right now and it's not approved, I'm not thinking, oh, it's a background check issue. I'm thinking it's a backlog issue.
You're more than welcome, Morali. My priority date is November 2013, filed by Company A in EB2, and I joined Company B in 2019, and filed my Perm in June 2021 in EB3. When can I expect my Perm will be approved and file my adjustment of status? So if the Perm is filed, in 2019, filed by Perm in June 2021. Okay. So it's taking about, 6 months?
You know, it's down a little bit right now to 4 was what I was seeing. Maybe more like 5. I saw a couple that had been approved at 4 months, but we were just talking earlier today that some of them seem to be being approved out of order. So 4 to 6 months is your real processing time.
So that's really the answer. And then get ready you can get your attorney prepare the I-140 now in advance. have already sitting in the file, because really there is not much to do. And if your priority date is current, I don't see that. I see that
November
2013. Yes.
Yeah, so you should be able to file as soon as that.
Well, filing date is 2014, and final action date is 2014.
January 2014. So this person should be able to file. Morales should be able to file.
You're a good candidate for a preparation. So have your attorney start preparing your adjustment now.
Yeah, there's nothing that stops. I mean, it doesn't take that long to prepare an I-140 filing. There's nothing that stops the attorney from prepping that I-140 and even your I-45 if you're
Yes.
so bold before that perm comes in. Basically. There's a new version of the adjustment of status form that's going into effect, sometime in October, and you do actually they're taking it right now. You can
time it.
Yeah, it's possible to be prepared as soon as that perm comes in.
Yes, 6:59. So we're taking 2 more questions.
Sure. So Rami's got a question. How long will so this is a sort of a follow up from the last one.
How long does it take to complete the background check? And if it's okay to interfile medical with RFE, I have EAD approved I-140.
Without RFE.
Without RFE, that's why you have good vision, Brian. You can pick it up.
I got these big glasses, Sam.
I know. I need bigger glasses. Approved I-140 and my priority date is June 2013. Background check is, it varies from who you are and what country you're from. India, background check. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
This is
not too.
As we have no control. That's something it falls in the category of we have no control over it. And that's
right now, I don't see background check problem. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
So I don't see a background check problem as we've had several years ago, where background check was taking over a year to complete. But there's no background check issues. They're coming quickly. The question for you is getting to your file and getting it processed. All right, so we're going to go to the next question.
So there's a sub-question there. Is it okay to interfile medicals without RFE? So USCIS issued a policy a little while back where they said, where they sort of implied that they don't want to receive medicals outside the context of an RFE. They said, we'll let you know. That being said, we have sent some of them without...
we're sending them with, we don't encourage it. We're sending them, they're taking it.
Yeah, with the understanding that the government, there's always a chance that they'll lose it or something like that, or send it back to you. That's a minor risk you can take.
And remember, October 1st, if you have a medical you want to do now and send it out, that might be better because there's no COVID vaccination requirement, which can save you time. If you've done a medical and it's sitting on your desk and you haven't sent it, I would send it, because by October 1st, you got to redo another one. All right, we're taking the last one today.
Okay. This is from G. Syria. My attorney filed EB3 downgrade 20 days back. Will it take more time to receive the receipt? Also, will I get a receipt on the 485, 765, or my attorney will get receipts along with the I-140 downgrade? So...
Well, so you will. The attorney gets the receipt. The law says they can send it to either office. They have flexibility, but typically the attorney receives them. But he's your attorney, and he should send it to you. You should instruct him to send it to you. He cannot withhold your receipt notices.
Well, it depends on how that actually depends on how the G28's completed by the attorney. The way we do them is, that for your case, your I-45, 765, and I-131, we'll get a copy of the receipt notice, and you'll get one in the mail as well. The I-140, that belongs to, again, depending on how they complete the G28, one copy should go to the attorney and one copy should go to the employer.
Right. So you do not own the I-140 process. That's your process. You own the 765 and the 485 and 9-131 processes. And whether or not you receive them, you can instruct your attorney to give you a copy as soon as they get it, and the attorney must follow your instructions.
They're your documents.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in. I know we haven't answered all the questions, but come in next week, and we're going to be talking about more exciting stuff. We're going to get back to regular schedule on Mondays. And until then, have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.